She's got the papers. She started with Donald Trump, his upcoming State of the Union speech. It's expected about 3 a.m. our time here in France, so no doubt we'll be covering this this time tomorrow morning.
That's right. We will be looking at reactions to the State of the Union speech, which will be Donald Trump's first annual speech to Congress and to the American people. Now, but already, even before he's given the speech, some are wondering if it's time to scrap the whole State of the Union address. That's what the former White House and Pentagon official Douglas McKinnon argues in this article for Fox News, saying, I quote, "What was once a useful and much needed yearly update has evolved into a partisan, mudslinging slideshow. This year's address will already be boycotted by some Democrats, so Trump would do well just to post his address to the Congress and be done with it."
Comes at a bit of a turbulent time for Donald Trump, doesn't it, personally, this?
That's right, and there's a lot of focus on the First Lady Melania Trump, who will be making her first appearance at the State of the Union address since the Wall Street Journal's report about Trump paying off, or allegedly paying off, his alleged porn star lover over their affair in 2006 while Melania was pregnant with their son Barron. Indeed, her support, or lack thereof, could be a real Achilles heel in Trump's presidency. He needs her. That's what the New York Times says. He needs her to rationalize his behavior, to dismiss his accusers, and to fight back against naysayers. But has she had enough? Well, that's a question.
And if you're a stickler for grammar, you too might have had enough of the White House's slew of typos. Well, they can add another one to their list.
I'm a bit of a stickler for grammar, it must be said, but
you
know what? They do give us great material, so I can't really complain. This time, the invites for the State of the Union address featured a major typo. The word union was spelt with an M at the end, so State of the Union. As you see in this rather gleeful tweet from Florida Senator Marco Rubio, the White House says it is now reissuing invites with the correct spelling on them. I quote the Huffington Post, "Whoever printed out those tickets must be feeling very kofifi right now."
Very nice. We never make spelling mistakes on France 24 with those words.
Never.
They're always perfect. Let's go to South Africa for this next story. Cape Town could become the first city to run out of water.
Well, this story has really been getting a lot of attention in the past couple of weeks, and it's really due to a drought. That day, that so-called zero day, or day zeros right now, is projected for April the 12th. That's a day when taps will be turned off in Cape Town. But it could come sooner if more efforts are not done to curb water consumption. It's a catastrophe that would affect all of us. That's what the Citizen, a South African paper, says on its front page. It's also giving us a taste of what possibly potential wars of the future might look like. Wars over resources, wars over water. The government has promised a crackdown on day zero panic that's led some shops, for instance, to sell filtered municipal water without a license. Now, after day zero, whenever it happens, the emergency water supply mode kicks in. Water collection points will be monitored by the police and military, and people would only be able to shower and flush toilets at certain times of the day.
It's become a national issue, this, hasn't it?
It's become highly politicized as well. Cyril Ramaphosa, the president of the ruling ANC party, has promised to put a team together to come up with some solutions to this water crisis. It's worth noting that the Cape Town's local government is run by the ANC's biggest rival party, the Democratic Alliance. And in fact, Cape Argus, this paper based in Cape Town, the editors there say the issue is being politicized now because the ANC is blaming the DA, the Democratic Alliance, for this crisis. All the meanwhile, the rich continue to waste water because they can afford it. Cape Argus's editors say no amount of politicking, panic buying, or finger pointing is going to help us here. What we need is we're in this together, and together we can solve it.
Now, let's have some good news for once about the environment in the next story. It was from Chile, this.
This is from that's right, the Argentine paper Clarín says President Michelle Bachelet signed off on an historic agreement yesterday declaring 5 national parks to preserve Patagonia. This was thanks to over 1 million acres of privately purchased land donated to Chile by American entrepreneurs Kristen McDivitt Tompkins and her late husband Doug Tompkins, who was the founder of North Face. Now, they had purchased that land for ecological preservation, and their donation, as Bachelet said, is a, quote, unprecedented act of preservation.
And finally from Dipti, the ultimate revenge, this story. This is for a teenager who's completed a polar hat trick.
That's right. She's completed it. I'm pretty sure most of us don't even know what it is.
No, exactly.
She's an Australian teenager, Jade Hameister. She's completed much more in her short life than most of us. She's now the youngest person to traverse the North Pole, the Greenland ice sheet, and now, most recently, the South Pole on skis. Now, after her first trip in 2006 to the North Pole, she was subjected to some vicious trolling, apparently by men who said, "Oh, you should be making me a sandwich instead," something really sad like that. Well, now she's left the sandwich at the South Pole and posted an Instagram picture telling her trolls to come and get it.
Very nice. Well done. Well done to her. What's her name? Jade. Fantastic stuff. Well, Jade. Thanks a lot, DT, as well.